Hey, this is Casey here to talk about practical spiritualism. This is episode 2, and I would like to discuss today how I use spiritualism and my practices with getting through pain, and how to alchemize that energy and use it towards prosperity and really growing from the experiences that were painful, and how I've been able to take that negative energy and cultivate it into something very positive and prosperous. And what I mean by prosperous is that it helps me in my peace and my joy and my actually here helping you, sitting here and able to discuss it in a way that I don't have to hide from or feel weird about, because sitting here anyways makes me feel I'm comfortable now, which is crazy to me. But I used to, think that it was doable, but I had all these other things that I wanted to say that just like were so painful, and I'm like, thank God I'm not there right now. Thank God I was able to grow from that and get here, so I'm able to actually share the process from it all and leave what didn't serve me back there, and grateful for the ability to do that, grateful for really all the experiences that I have been through, because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't be where I am today, meaning like at a soul level, being at peace and able to create my own joy and be the, co-creator with God in my life, with my decision making and how I feel, my intuition, all the things. So that being said, let's get going and talk about using that energy, because everything is energy, right? I mean, I believe that. So using that negative energy and turning it into something way more valuable. First of all, anything that ever happens to us happens in our lives. Let's just say in our lives. Anything that's ever happened in our lives that has caused some sort of pain, grief, loss, challenge, frustration, anger, resentment, any of that, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how did anyone get through the times that they are that they go through, even now, with what has happened and with the hurricanes, with Florida. I live in Florida, in North Carolina. What this year in 2024, all the other stuff that's going on in the world. We can talk about, like, every day there's something new that happens in the world that's not good, but every day there is something good that happens too. So the silver lining, as they say, is what is the good out of the bad? What is the silver lining? But when you're in it, when you're in that place where you feel that pain, where it's happening in your life bigger than it's happening anywhere else, that's the hardest part to get through, because you don't know what's next, right? Because you didn't know what was in the first place. Meaning that, man, does grief open up eyes, doesn't it? Grief is such a strong emotion. It opened up my eyes in 2020 when my mom died. Not from COVID, but she died in the beginning of 2020, right when COVID was hitting. And man, COVID hits, my mom dies, and now they closed down all the parks, the beaches, and everything. So I really had nowhere to grieve. I had nowhere to go. I couldn't run anywhere. I had to sit with it, and I had to sit with my grief. And if that didn't teach me a lot back then, man, I don't know what did. I don't know what would. It didn't feel good, but I had to sit with it. And even a couple of years after, I still wasn't. I still wasn't processing as I should have. As I was as I still was holding on to things, resentment and people and things, because after the loss, whatever it is, when you go through a traumatic situation that is so painful and is the biggest traumatic situation of your life, you really find out who you are through the process. And through finding out who you are, you really find out who other people are. Whether they're your friends, your family members, where you work, what you do for a living. You find out because you learn how strong you are and how resilient you are through the whole process, that you grow from that. And when you grow from that, then everything looks different around you. Everyone looks different around you. And, the question was to me is like, I don't understand. Like, was this always this way? Or am I changing? And the beauty of the process was I was changing. And, man, it took a long time for me to understand that. Man, I've lost a lot of, I haven't lost, I just, had to separate myself from, relationships, friends, family members, and also work because of how it was, it didn't grow with me, and I saw it, so I saw the friends, relationships, situations, so much different than I used to. I used to be okay with, I guess, all things. I don't know. And now that I've walked more in alignment with spirituality, and because I've always been spiritual, but I've grown closer to the processes that I use in my spiritual practices. Or spiritual practice. I just do, I have a structured practice day that I go through every day in order to keep myself fundamentally in alignment with where I need to be, where I feel most valuable to myself. So, those processes really do help with alchemizing the pain into prosperity, because you really get to know yourself a whole lot more. I have through meditation, and I use meditation at least once a day, if not multiple times a day, and I also journal every day, and I invite spirit, God, and love into my life every day, in order for me to show up and be the best that I can be for myself, so I can be best for everybody else and everything I need to do in my day, or be in my day, or see in my day, So, and it really gives me the discernment I need in order to go through the situations in life that are quite difficult. Walking away from people that I've, known and loved my whole entire life. Careers that I thought were going to be for the rest of my life. Just things that seemed impossible before, happen. And I believe that's true these days. Like things are happening so frequently that are a lot of bad things, but a lot of good things too. I like to focus on the good things, but I have to understand what's going on in the world. I'm not going to not listen to what's happening, because I believe and awareness. And awareness is being aware of what's going on in the state of the world, but also in the state of where you're at personally, right? How you take in the information and what you do with it afterwards. It's up to you. I choose to listen and be aware of really what's happening around the world in my zone, in this region, you know, in our world, in the United States of America. And so anyways, I believe that we have to sit down when we go through the pain, the struggles, the frustration. We got to give ourselves time to grieve. We got to give ourselves time to cry, to you know, let go, release, and go through, and use the time that you need, and give yourself the time that you need to sit down, talk to somebody, cry about it, go through the emotions. Because if you deprive yourself of the emotions that you're meant to feel, because we're human, then you're doing yourself a disservice. So first, help yourself get the help that you need in order to get through the pain of whatever it is that you're going through. And however that help looks to you, that's up to you. I use spirituality. I use God. I've used therapists in the past. I like to use friends, but you know what I think about is, like, our friends are here for us and they're supportive, and and I'm grateful for that, and I love that. But I do believe that we can't put too much on our friends like that. You know, like, people have their own things to deal with. And when we're in so much pain, we're hurting, and we need to talk to somebody, it's great to talk to somebody that just doesn't have skin in the game, right? That doesn't have any, doesn't know doesn't know the relationship, or doesn't know the history of all of everything. So that they don't have the preconceived, like, answer that they need to tell you. You know, I'm not saying that friends always do that, but I I feel like when you talk to, like, a therapist or something, it's like a bird's eye perspective, right? It's like it's a high level perspective. They hear the situation, they probably understand a lot more than we give anyone credit for, and then they give you, you know, the feedback and the help. So I, you know, absolutely think that therapy is a huge help to that the first part of the process of letting go, grieving, releasing whatever it is you're going through. And then, you know, and then after that, like, just finding out who you are in the process. And like, okay, so what did that situation teach you? What did that situation give you? What did that situation do? And who were you in that situation? So that today you can grow from it, and today you can learn from that situation. Like, oh, okay, well, that's where I know that's not the right situation or relationship or whatever for me. You know, in any situation in life, you know, there are red flags in several places, in situations in life, and I'm sure people feel them all the time and disregard them. I listen to them all the time, and that's why my friendship circle is very small. But I mean, it's true. You know, you can't trust everybody, and I've got a truth odometer that, like, you know, is pretty on target. So it's it is a blessing and a curse, I tell you what. Anyways, but I'm grateful for that truth odometer, or meter, truth meter. I don't know. I'm grateful for my intuition and how I feel around people, situations, and relationships. So I can use my discernment and take a step back, you know, and look at the whole situation. Ask myself, is it me? Is it them? Is it this? What is it? And then, you know what? The answer always comes if you take a step back. So, there's that. Okay, finding out who you are in this situation, in a relationship, friendship, whatever it is, work, whatever it is, and then who do you want to be today? Like, how can you gain from what transpired? whether it's grief, whether it's tragedy, whether it's whatever it is. How can you gain on a soul level, right? Like, we're all here to evolve. We're all here to change all the time, and get better at being us, what we're here to do, what our purpose is. If you know if you're on a path to find your purpose, I know I am, and I know this is part of my purpose. So, how are you going to get there? And you get there from lessons, fortunately and unfortunately, you get there from learning from the path in life that you take, and that the lessons that you learn from. And hopefully you only get to learn that lesson once, sometimes twice. But I mean, I know that I've walked a couple of lessons a few times, and I know that I am done with those, but it's up to the individual. And so then we're here, and then we make the transition into, okay, so how we've taken that pain, we've turned it around. We've taken that pain, we've turned it here. We've asked for help. We're getting help. We've turned it here. We understand who we are, and now we're almost 360 or 180, whatever it is. We're almost stirring the pot the whole way around, and we're almost turning that pain into prosperity. Prosperity is prosperity is at the end of the process of alchemizing your pain into what is your passion. Okay, and so that is the beauty with the whole process, is through the agony, through the tragedy, through the grief, through the anger, the resentment, all of that stuff that you have to let go of and leave back there, all of that stuff you get to use. Now you have that energy, all of that energy that's built up from all the things that you had to go through whatever transpired. Now you get to use that energy, and you get to use it to your benefit. You get to take that energy, and you're turning around, and you're here, and you're like, boom, this is what I'm here for, whatever it is for anybody. And when I would go through things, I would go to my happy places. My happy places are music. My happy places are dance. My happy places are fashion. My happy places are being good to other people. My happy places are just being a kind human being. My happy places are, I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to make it the best day, and I am going to be my best for today, because that's all I've got to give. Those are my happy places. So if I can do all that and if I can do all that with this energy now that I have, now I'm winning. I'm winning on a personal level, on a soul level, because now I'm doing what I am supposed to be doing, what I'm here to do, what my purpose is, what my soul purpose is, because that's what I'm gifted with. This is my gift, and now I'm sharing it, and I'm proud of myself. Man, I used to be scared. I'd be scared to sit here and talk to do this in front of anyone. I used to stumble over my words and think I had to have a whole speech written, all this stuff, and I don't have to have anything but myself and what I've been through, because what we go through teaches other people, and if we're able to deliver what we've learned in a way that is helpful for others, then that's what we're here to do. So I hope that this helps. I hope that this helps somebody out there. I hope that you turn pain into prosperity, and use the process of the pain of going through everything and getting help, helping yourself, and using that energy into something positive and good and possible. Then you're winning on your own level for yourself. You're winning for yourself. Not that there's a competition, not that we're competing against anyone, but you get to win on a personal level when you choose you first, when you choose to go through that pain and turn it around and use it for good rather than use it for anger, resentment, or to, or anything else. So I really appreciate you listening, and I really appreciate you giving me this time, and I really appreciate being here enable. I really appreciate to be able to share this with you and to give you some of the things that I have learned in order to keep the dream alive, man. All right, you take care, and I'll see you next time.